So I saw Venom on premiere night, and I saw it again yesterday. After my second time watching it, my friend texted me and asked how it was, and I used a comparison that I feel describes it perfectly. It's like watching a Cleveland Browns football game. You realize that it's not very good, but damn, it's fun to watch, and that's exactly how Venom was for me. Venom is a very entertaining film, but it definitely has its flaws. So let's start this review off with the things Venom did right. Thankfully, in my opinion, Venom nailed the portrayal of the titular character. The relationship between Eddie Brock and Venom was very well done and very entertaining to watch. My biggest worry going into the film was that the movie wouldn't be anywhere near as dark and twisted as I had hoped for in a Venom movie, with it not being rated R. And luckily, I felt satisfied with the way the film went about this. Venom definitely does bite some heads off as expected, and the humor landed for me. Venom calling Eddie a pussy for taking the elevator instead of jumping out the window literally made me laugh out loud. I feel like Michelle Williams was sufficient in her role as Eddie's ex-girlfriend, ex-fiance, whatever in the hell the plot said she was, who knows. Although she is a wonderful actress, the screenplay didn't really give her a chance to show this. The CGI was good in 97% of the movie. I felt that the film looked very good, but a few scenes could definitely have used a little bit more work. But unfortunately, that's about where I draw the line for the positives. And to start with the negatives, let me just say that this movie is a mess. Like, there's no beating around the bush, this movie is a mess. To say the least, this movie is about as bipolar as it gets as to where it wants to go with its direction tonally. The movie starts with some very ominous and deep music as if it's a space horror or thriller, but then it goes to an absolutely berserk comedy at some points. It was reported that the studio ended up cutting 40 minutes from the movie, and let me just say, you could definitely tell. At one point, the movie takes a time jump, and it's not just a few days later, it's half a year. Yeah, 6 months. The dialogue in this movie with anyone besides Eddie and Venom is subpar to say the best, and that's giving it some credit. Ruben Fleischer directed films like Zombieland, and the style that he brought into Venom just lacked all of the spark that his other films, such as Zombieland, had between their characters. Now, let me just start by saying, the first 40 minutes of this movie absolutely drag on. Until the second that the symbiote comes on the screen and it and Eddie become one, the movie absolutely suffers from trying to set up too much too fast, and I feel like that's a side effect from not having Spider-Man to set up the story that we all know and love. The relationship between Hardy and Williams' respective characters just never really gets any development. The characters aren't fleshed out at all, and by the second you start to feel a little bit for the relationship is over just as fast. The last big problem that I have with the film is its villain. Carlton Drake, or Riot, is about as much of a cookie-cutter villain as it gets. He's a bad businessman, has a lot of money, does bad things, becomes the exact opposite of the protagonist. As one of my favorite channels, Nando V Movies, refers to it, Riot was just a big gray villain. While I know that Riz Ahmed is a fantastic actor, there wasn't much that he could have done with what was given to him in the first place. So, yes, I can 100% acknowledge and admit that Venom is a mess, but it's a very entertaining mess. I found myself thoroughly enjoying the second half of the movie, especially once Venom comes into the frame. While this movie is slated to be the first of a trilogy, if they can take the positives of this movie and throw out and improve on the rest of the mess that absolutely plagued this movie, I can say that a sequel couldn't be any worse than Sony's last attempt at a sequel. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and give Venom a 6.5 out of 10 score on the Tricks and Flicks meter. So thank you guys for watching this. Let me know if you enjoy the movie reviews and other movie related videos, and I'll be sure to keep bringing them to the channel. Also, subtle plug, we recently opened our fan shop with some merchandise I designed, and it would be awesome if you guys would at least go over and check it out. Thanks again, you guys are the best. See ya.